What's up, you friggin' geniuses? So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to locate fractions and mixed numbers on the number line. And we're just going to do positive examples in this video, okay? But in the next video, I'll do negative examples. Okay, so let's start with this one. Positive 2/3. How would I graph this on a number line? Well, one thing that you can immediately see is that this is a proper fraction. How do you know it's a proper fraction? Because the top number is smaller than the bottom number, okay? So whenever you see that, whenever you see a proper fraction, you automatically know it's going to be between 0 and 1. Okay, so I have this number line here that I'm going to fill in. So I know it's going to be between 0 and 1. Okay, so there's a good starting point. Now, how am I going to split this up? Well, my denominator right here tells me how many spaces I need to break this up into. Okay, so since we have 3 in the denominator, I need to break this up into 3 equal pieces. How do I do that? Well, I'm going to take my denominator and subtract 1 from it. Okay, what's 3 minus 1? That's 2, right? So that means I'm going to draw 2 lines on my number line, and I'm going to try and space them out evenly. So remember, we needed to split it up into 3 even sections. That's why I only drew 2 lines. Because look, now we have 3 even sections, right? Here's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so where am I going to plot my point on this number line? Well, that's what the numerator is for, okay? It's going to tell me how many spaces I'm going to move over. So I'm going to start at 0, and then I'm going to move over 2 spaces. So I'm going to go 1, 2, okay? So that's where I plot my point. So I'm saying this line right here is 2/3. So let's do a few more examples. Okay, so let's locate 2/5 on the number line. Now again, first thing that stands out right here is that this is a proper fraction. Again, how do you know that? Because the top number is smaller than the bottom number. Okay, so automatically I know it's between 0 and 1. Okay, now the denominator tells me how many spaces I'm going to break this up into. Okay, so I'm going to take my denominator and I'm going to subtract 1 from it. What does that equal to? 4. Okay, so that means I'm going to draw 4 lines between 0 and 1, and I'm going to space them out evenly. We'll draw 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I drew 4 lines in order to make 5 equal spaces. Okay, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's 5. Okay, so that's how you space out your lines. Okay, so where are we going to plot our point? Well, again, that's what the numerator is for, okay? It's going to tell us how many spaces we move. So in this case, we're going to move 2 spaces, okay? So we're going to start at 0, and we're going to move 1, 2, okay? Boom, right there. That is 2/5. Now let's do a couple mixed number examples. Okay, so here I have 1 and 3/5. How am I going to plot this? Well, my whole number right here always tells me where I'm going to start from. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's go back to this last example real quick. Here, all we had was a proper fraction, right? 2/5. But what if I turned this into a mixed fraction? Let's just say I put a 0 right here, okay? So you can kind of think of 0 as like the whole number, okay? So that means I'm going to start at the whole number, and then I'm going to move 2/5, right? So that's what we did. We started at 0, and then we moved 2/5. So that's what we're going to do down here. We're going to start at 1, and then we're going to move 3/5. And this time, when I plot it, I'm not going to be between 0 and 1. I'm going to be between 1 and 2. Because I'm going to have 0, 1, and 2, right? Because, again, this is my starting point, 1, and then we're going to move 3/5. So as you can see, I'm between 1 and 2. So let's actually work this one out. Okay, so again, I know I'm going to start at 1, so that's going to be my starting point. Then we're going to move over 3/5. Our denominator tells us how many spaces we're going to break this up into. So I'm going to break it up into 5 different pieces, but remember, I'm going to subtract 1 from that, and that's going to tell me how many lines I have to draw. So 5 minus 1 is equal to 4, so I'm going to draw 4 lines. And I'm going to try and space them evenly. 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you can see, we have 5 equal spaces, right? Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's 5. Okay, so now we have 5 even spaces. Last thing we have to do is just look at the numerator, because that's going to tell us how many spots we're going to move. So in this case, we're going to move 3 spots. So again, we're going to start at 1, and then we're going to move 1, 2, 3. There is 1 3/5. Okay, we're just going to do one more example with an improper fraction. Okay, so here we're given 4/3, or 4/3. How would we plot this? Well, first thing we're going to have to do is change this improper fraction to a mixed number. So how do you convert an improper fraction to a mixed number? You just divide, okay? So 4/3 is the same thing as 4 divided by 3, so let's just do this division problem. So we have 4 divided by 3. 3 goes into 4 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. We subtract, and we have a remainder of 1. Okay, so now we have all the information we need in order to construct our mixed fraction. So whatever number you get up here on top, so 1 in this case, that's going to be your whole number of your mixed fraction. And whatever you get in your remainder, so 1 in this case, is going to go in your numerator. And then whatever our original denominator was, that's going to be your denominator here also. So 4/3 is equal to 1 1/3. How are we going to plot this? So remember, this whole number tells me my starting point, and then this proper fraction tells me how many times I move. So again, this is our starting point. So let's at least put that on the number line. So we're going to have 0, 1, 2. Okay, so I'm going to be somewhere between 1 and 2. How do I know that? Because again, this is our starting point. So we're going to start at 1, and then we're going to move over 1/3, right? So I'm going to move over 1/3. So I'm going to be between 1 and 2. Okay, so let's look at this proper fraction right here. So we need to have 3 even spaces. So in order to draw that, I'm going to subtract 1, and that gives me 2, right? So I have to draw 2 lines. 2 lines that are spaced evenly. And then again, you can see I have 3 even spaces, right? So here's 1, here's 2, and here's 3. Okay, so now it's spaced evenly. The last thing is going to be just figuring out how many spaces we have to move over. So that comes from the numerator, right? So we have a 1 right here, so we're going to move over 1 spot. So we're going to start at 1, right? We're starting at 1, and then move over 1 spot. So this spot right here is 1 1/3, okay? But we can also write it like our original problem over here, right? 4/3. Because remember, 4/3 is equal to 1 1/3. So I'll put that there, 4/3. All right, guys, so that's how you locate proper, improper, and mixed fractions on the number line. I hope the examples were helpful. If they were, definitely leave a thumbs up down below. It's always appreciated. And if you still got any questions, leave them in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to try and help you out. Also, there's a playlist attached at the end of the video, so if there's any other topics you need help with, definitely go check those out, and I'll see you there.